Welcome back to the Super Centex Podcast. Chad Conine, Michael Haig, Bryce Sherry. Gentlemen, how you doing on a Tuesday?
What's up, guys? How you doing, Chad?
Yeah, good. I think I did the Lubbock Shuffle this weekend, and I went to my niece's volleyball match yesterday, so I have a feeling I'm going to hit a wall at some point today.
See a nap in your future?
That could be.
Well, you know, it's not nap time for our Central Texas teams. They're fully into district play. How do you like that segue?
It's the good stuff now.
Yeah, it is the good stuff. As the coaches say, these are the games that matter. So when you guys look across Central Texas, are there any teams that you can identify that maybe had a tough go of it in non-district play, but they're capable of being a spoiler in their district?
The team that jumped out to me just based on how they started district play, and it was with the loss, but Marlin, I think Marlin, still winless, 0-6, and if you remember, Marlin was actually state ranked to open the year, and that was, you could probably make a case that was based on what Marlin did last year, and probably not as much as what the Bulldogs returned, but that's a young team that is growing. And they're finding some new ways to kind of attack things. We obviously talked about Bryce and Maxwell Steele.
Yeah, they may have found their, their X factor, their secret weapon. Roll out the fridge, baby.
And so they started district play. Was it at Crawford? It was at Crawford. And we know Crawford's been pretty good this year. Crawford's only loss was to what's now a Class 2A Division I state-ranked Axtell team. And so that was not, going into that matchup, I felt pretty safe picking Crawford, like in our weekly picks. And it took an overtime effort for the Pirates to pull that one out. In fact, Crawford was down 21-7 at one point. So that was not an easy game for the Pirates. And, I'm looking at that district, and still, even with a winless Marlin team, am I going to pick them over Bruceville-Eddy? Am I going to pick I still believe in Marlin to probably make the playoffs. So that's a team that I think jumps right off the page for me.
Yeah, I was looking at that district today, too, because I was talking to Weston Cooper from Moody for a story I'm doing for Saturday, and asking him, and I won't give his answer up because it's sort of just between me and him. I was asking how many is it going to take for them to get into the playoffs, because that's a big deal, going from 0-10 last year to here we are in week 8, and Moody has a chance to make the playoffs. So let's all kind of appreciate that for a second, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good turnaround.
But so yeah, Riesel, Bruceville-Eddy, Marlin, those three teams are 0-1 in district, and Rosebud, Lott, Moody, and Crawford are 1-0 in district. And man, that whole thing could get messy.
It could.
So who's your team that I asked?
My team. Oh, you want me to answer the question? Is that what you're saying, Bryce?
Yes.
It's your turn.
That'd be lovely.
The dang question.
Lovely. That would be lovely.
All right. Well, I thought Michael was gonna, take the easy answer here, which is Mexia.
I almost went there. I did.
Mm-hmm. I figured you would, but then I thought I've been bragging so much about Mexia. You're such a nice guy. You just left that one for me.
There you go.
Because as I mentioned on the After Dark the other night, I got 5-3A Division I exactly right last week.
You did.
Which getting Whitney over Grandview and Mexia over Groesbeck. Now, so this week Mexia plays West, which I'll pull back the curtain. You guys were talking about that one on text message. I was like, I told you we were going to be talking about that game this week. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Mexia is definitely one that had a tough non-district, and I think probably Lorena, they got to start on Friday against Gatesville, but they could kind of make that one murky too.
That was actually that third team I had on my list. I had 3 teams, and we've gone through all of them now.
All right, well then, who we got left for Bryce?
So I'll take. I'm going to stick with the M theme here.
McGregor.
Michael went with Marlin. Chad just went with who'd you say?
Mexia.
There you go.
And I'm going McGregor. So obviously, the Bulldogs were, didn't winless through non-district. Had some tough games, but they've shown an ability to put up points for sure.
Yes.
Bubba Zacharias is a good quarterback. Dom Madrone at receiver, one of the top, targets in Central Texas. And they just haven't been able to get over that hump. Well, they got it done in the district opener against Cameron, pull out an overtime win. And you wonder if that may give the Bulldogs some momentum going forward. It's a 6-team district. You only have to get in the top 4. And look, everybody in that district is 500 or under except for Franklin. It's not an overwhelming district. I mean, it's Franklin's to lose, and they're going to win it. But beyond that, I think McGregor's capable of beating some of those other teams. Like
pretty much every team in there is a wild card, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
They've got Rockdale. They got
yeah.
Rockdale this week. That's where they go this week. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if if Quentin White's team went on a little run here. So that's my pick. So we talked about a few teams that started out 0-1 in district, and if you look at some games like Gatesville-Lorena, Grandview-Groesbeck, Cameron-Yo and Troy, Marlin-Bruceville-Eddy, all of those are games that pit two teams that started out 0-1 in district. So when you look at those games, how big does it make those matchups? Because obviously nobody wants to start out 0-2. That's a pretty steep hole to climb out of.
Yeah. Man, I don't want to be nasty, but there's like sometimes it's like, okay, well, they lost that. You look at some of these matchups, they go, okay, they lost last week, but there's no way they're losing this week. But I'm not going to name names on that one.
What I'll say, Chad, is like to answer your question, Bryce, it is important to not get into that hole, but at the same time, based on how some of these schedules are, it's not necessarily impossible to climb out of either. The team I think of immediately is Gatesville. Now, am I going to pick Lorena over Gatesville this week? Probably not. But if Gatesville were to fall into an 0-2 hole, that was exactly what the Hornets did last year through the first 2 games of district, and it was going to take a lot for them just to have a chance. They needed some outside help. They got it. They also took care of business against China Spring on the road last year and Connolly on the road, and kind of snuck into the playoffs. And where they end up, the regional semifinals, 3 rounds deep. So yes, it is very important to not dig yourself that hole, so to speak, but you can still climb out. It probably depends on the schedule, what your team's made of, what district you're in, because as we know, is in that district I just mentioned, that 12-4 AD2, I mean, you do really need to take care of business.
I just feel like there's a big difference in even just the feeling of 1-1
Agreed.
Versus 0-2.
100%.
I think probably it is a big challenge. Like, I think maybe the biggest challenge for Chad President at Temple at this point is to keep his guys motivated on the same page and say we're 0-2, but we can still get to where, we can still at least get to the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
It's even tougher for them because they know if they end up making the playoffs, they're probably going to be the number 2 seed in the big school deal, and they're going to play a really good team out of the South Dallas area. So
right.
Yeah, and that boils down to would you rather, make the playoffs or not?
Everybody would rather make the playoffs.
Everybody would rather make the playoffs. Exactly. I agree. All right. So that's enough discussion on that. I teased it last week. You guys know what's coming, but I want to give us a little bit of time to go through it. We're going to play some fantasy football, Super Centex style. So I have sent you a basic scoring system that we will use.
Are we going to actually publish the results of this? Are we going for real here?
We're going to, we'll publish it on the next podcast next week. So.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know we were going to have a running fantasy football league for the rest of the season.
No.
No.
It's a 1 week deal. It's a 1 week. 1 week.
Okay.
You get
All right.
one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow.
Well, I mean, my
Sounded like
NFL
Eminem.
fantasy team is taking a nosedive, so I might as well have something to live for.
There you go. I mentioned the scoring system. I'll have Lynn maybe see if he can superimpose it on the screen, so if anybody really cares to know how we're scoring. But we're going to have a 3-man league here, us three, with a 3-round draft.
I think the loser ought to have to put the results on their Instagram story.
Okay, except that would be my very first ever Instagram post. I have an account, but but I don't.
What a way to start it off.
Well, then us two could repost it and maybe get some more followers.
You're misinterpreting the fact that I don't care. We'll draft a quarterback, a running back, and a receiver.
Does it have to be in that order?
No, obviously not.
Okay, I didn't know if you were gonna. Okay, fine.
No.
All right.
It's like a fantasy football draft. Draft how you want.
Okay. I don't want to give anything away,
but you do have those positional requirements.
Sure.
You have to,
no, okay. In fact, I'm not even going to ask the question I was going to ask. I'm just going to roll with my strategy.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
And like I said, we'll reconvene next week and see how we did. The winner will be the first ever Super Centex Fantasy Football Champion. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to do this 3-man draft, and I'm going to draw for the draft order. Look, there's Chad right there.
Oh, nice.
And Michael.
Okay.
And Bryce. So hang on. I think I would have had that ready.
I mean, you wouldn't be Bryce if you already had it ready and had it well organized and weren't fumbling around.
Oh man, ouch. See, Zach recently told me he praised my organization, and now here you are throwing me under the bus. All right. So I'm drafting.
You are very well organized in things like the Magna Carta, like the list of all things that we do, right?
Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm not looking, and I'm picking and I'm kind of shuffling them around here. I'm picking this is number 1 pick, and that is Chad.
Okay. I've had, wow.
Congrats, Chad. That is a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. I still like my strategy.
You're going to set the tone. Set the tone. Yeah.
Number 2 is Bryce. So Michael,
I love where I am.
You get the snake at the end of the draft.
Yep. I'm excited.
All right. So Chad, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to take with my first pick wide receiver Kobe Haynes.
That's a good pick.
I like
because here's the thing, and this is what I was going to ask a minute ago, and I don't care if y'all say no because that's just the way it is.
I know what you're going to ask.
Eligible at wide receiver, but like on my fantasy baseball team this year, you might have a catcher that mostly played DH, but you got to play him at catcher every day of the season, right? And he gets the same stats as he would The reason I say that is Kobe Haynes is playing quarterback right now.
We don't know if he's going to,
but he's also going to get quarterback points.
We don't know if he's going to do that again. But to your point, though, even if he doesn't, he's been rushing the ball a lot too. So you're at least at the minimum going to get some rushing and receiving yards with him. Maybe some kickoff return too, if he scores one.
We haven't got an injury update from Whitney. I guess we'll be waiting for the 5-3A Division I availability report to come out.
That's a good pick, Chad.
That would be lovely if we had such information at our fingertips. All right, for my number 1 pick, I am going quarterback. A guy that actually plays quarterback. And I'm taking Cole Collins of Fairfield.
Nice.
And yeah, so obviously tearing it up all season. He leads Central Texas with 23 touchdown passes, has over 1,700 passing yards. And I mean, let's face it, Fairfield plays a 1-5 Huntington team this week. I think you do have to look at the matchups.
Well,
boy could go off. So,
or on the flip side, they'll be blowing him out, and he only plays a half like he's been doing.
There you go.
Point.
But
hey,
he's still one of our. He's put up.
I know. I've mentioned that he's still going to get you numbers no matter what. So
yeah.
That's a
all
good
right.
one.
So now we get Michael for 2 picks.
Back-to-back picks here at the end of the snake draft. Man, y'all left me some good ones, and I think there's kind of a no-brainer pick here. I'm surprised neither of you got these guys, but our Central Texas rushing leader, Evan Moreno from Robinson. I mean, if he's there, I don't see why I couldn't take him. So I'm going to go with him at the end of this first round here, and that's going to be my running back. I really like what he's been doing for them. He's averaging like 9 yards a carry.
I'll get a chance to see him this week. I'm looking forward to it.
He scores a lot of. He's part of why that offense is so electric, you could say, and he's been doing some good things. So I like that pick. And here at the top of the second round, I think, man, I'm between two guys.
You need a quarterback and you need a receiver.
Yeah. Man, this is tough, but I'm gonna go ahead and take London Smith here as my wide receiver. I figured Bryce was gonna target that one next, but I think with the quarterbacks that are still available, I can snag one here at the end of the draft. So London Smith having a great senior year. I don't even know what his total number. He's just putting up like 100 yards a game, touchdowns every week. He's having these Randy Moss stat lines. I mean,
yeah, and I feel like, do y'all feel like that the University Belton game could be a shootout?
I think so. Yeah, both offenses are really high powered. And, Colleen Ellison, who has a lot of athletes, was able to kind of jump on Belton a little bit. And I think if University can carry that momentum off of the Rudder game into that one, if Savoy Nichols is dialed in like he was last week, I think that could absolutely turn into a, high-scoring affair. So,
obviously I had Evan Moreno and London Smith written down here as potential guys to pick. But
since you see Midway every week, I think you got to take Lathan Wisington here
on a bye week.
On a bye week.
I'm not that dumb, Chad.
I was just lining up my next pick, and I was like, "Oh, Lathan Wisington's out there." I was like, "Dang it, he's on a bye week. Why are we just doing 1 week?"
You ain't gonna get much points from him this week, Chad.
Maybe we'll do it again.
We can do it again.
We can try it again, and maybe the next
next
time none of these players would be available to pick. How about that?
It would be like a DraftKings league.
Yeah,
I like that.
Like a guillotine league or something.
I like that.
Fortunately, my number 2 guy is still available. This is the guy I wanted second, and that is Tank Scott.
Yeah, I knew. That's why I was trying to get you to pick Lathan Wisington.
So, and as I mentioned, I will not get any defensive stats from Tank Scott. That does not count. We're just doing offense. But if he does happen to score on defense, I did say that if your guy gets any touchdowns in any other capacity, they will get a touchdown. But yeah, our boy Tank Scott is pretty special. And Bremond has, let's see, they have Goldthwaite this week. So, a good game.
And it's on the road.
Yeah, 6-0 versus 4-2. But I think they'll lean on Tank and move the chains, and he'll do his normal thing. So, yeah, give me Tank.
Good
All
pick.
right, Chad, you get 2 picks.
And this finishes out my team. And now, okay, now I don't like my strategy. Now I think I screwed up.
It's definitely a fantasy draft now.
I should
at my league's draft this year in August. One of my buddies, Dave, right before he took Jared Goff, he just went just sighed, and I go
had to settle.
I said, it's bad when you already hate your pick and you haven't even made it.
Sometimes you have to settle, though. I mean, that's tough.
Also, it's really a fantasy draft because I'm going to take forever to make this pick.
Okay, you're that guy. You're that guy.
He's on the clock and he waits till the last second.
Can I take Devontae Johnson from Coolidge?
No, 6 man.
This is 11 man.
6 man.
11 man only.
I meant to make that designation.
That would be unfar. I would have taken a 6-man guy with
maybe
my first
that's
pick.
Our next one. Maybe we do only 6 man next time.
I'm down.
Okay, so
You have your receiver.
So yeah.
Running back.
I know what I need. I know what I need. God, give me a break. I'm going to beat Whitney. I always do this in fantasy football. I'm always one team heavy.
Okay.
I'm going to take Jonte Johnson.
Nice.
I like it. I had him as
kickoff return touchdown potential too. Don't sleep on that. He gets a lot of those.
And give me Courtney Parr for my quarterback.
Nice pick.
Yeah. So
you'll see him this week as you're covering.
Yep.
No cheering from the sideline, Chad.
I'll just go.
Yes, my fantasy.
I'll just go over to Coach Hyde and say, "Look, Don, I need you to keep throwing the ball because I really need to win this fantasy football thing we're doing on our podcast." I'm sure that would go over real well.
Oh, I'm sure.
They would love that.
Don.
But I like those picks, Chad. Those are good.
Those are good picks. Don would probably take your hat and smush it or something. He would not take to that. All right. So for my final pick, I need a wide receiver. Kind of waffling between two guys, but I'm just going to go with the guy that I think leads the area in passing or receiving yards or receiving touchdowns. And that is Ramon Brown from Temple.
Nice.
So Chad referenced it, but obviously Temple finds itself in an 0-2 hole. Mm-hmm. And they get Colleen this week. Talk about a get right kind of game for the Wildcats. I think they'll get right, and I think they'll look to put the ball in their playmaker's hand as much as possible. I think I see big things for Ramon Brown this week. So that's my team.
All right. I like that pick, and I'm going to finish this sucker out here with my last pick. And I'll be honest with you guys. So not only did I get Evan Moreno, who was the top running back on my list, I got London Smith, who was the top wide receiver on my list. Neither of you guys picked the quarterback I wanted to. Cole Collins was like right there. He maybe it's a 1A.
I think you're going to go with the guy I had at number 2 at quarterback.
You absolutely know who I'm going with, and it's Jackson Blanchett from Lorena. And
I had him third.
I'll tell you what, this guy, yeah.
The other guy that was out there, and we'll see if Chad regrets not taking him, but Levi Leathers.
He would have been third. If one of you guys had taken Cole and the other Jackson, I would have gone Levi. But
Blanchett's pretty good too.
Man, Blanchett, he's not only is he just putting up monster numbers, but he does it both through the air and on the ground. I mean, he's really shifty back there. Evades sacks, doesn't make a ton of mistakes. And I like the way that he's leading that offense, and with Brody De Leon, who would have been a good running back for any of us to pick, with all the weapons he has, Carson Miller out wide. I think Lorena, facing Gatesville at home this week, I think they're going to want to put up a lot of points. And
I tell you,
and they have been putting up a lot of points.
You just made Bryce and I Amos Phillips fans this week.
Okay, that was the other guy that was out there that I was considering between.
I thought about him too.
Ramon,
but man, I'll tell you what, I really like my team. I'm sure y'all do too.
I do too. So let's run through our teams real quick. Chad has as his quarterback, he has Courtney Parr from la-vega. His running back, Jonte Johnson, not to be confused with Jay-Sean Johnson of Valley Mills. By
the way, I think they're brothers. I heard that from the guys. I heard that from the guys up in Whitney, the guys who do that podcast. I don't know what that situation dynamic's like. No, I'm just saying. Apparently, they're brothers. So
Jonte Johnson from Whitney, and then his receiver, his number 1 overall pick, Kobe Haynes. Quite a productive guy.
Yes.
At quarterback, I have Cole Collins from Fairfield, running back Tank Scott from Bremond, and receiver Ramon Brown from Temple. And Michael has Jackson Blanchett from Lorena at quarterback, Evan Moreno, the leading rusher in Central Texas, at running back, and London Smith from University as his receiver. We'll see how this
I think all I did with my strategy was to confuse myself. Because now I'm looking at it going, why didn't I pick Marnico Thomas from Chilton?
Well, he's certainly a rushing threat.
Here's the thing, though. Chilton tends to play a lot of 14-0 kind of games,
Or they'll put up 30 points, but half of it comes from their running game, including him and Xavier Taylor and the other guys. They don't tend to air it out a lot. So
and here's the thing. I mean, la-vega, we've talked about it, but they're far more a passing team this year than they are a running team, and so I think you're okay with Courtney Parr there.
Well, I was just thinking the way the points are set up, that if he goes off on a great rushing game, that could be more valuable than anything.
True that. That's why I have Jalen Hurts on my fantasy team, because the guy's like having an extra running back. He gets freaking 15 rushing touchdowns a year.
Right.
That'll be fun to see how that comes out. We referenced some of the games that we're going to be at, but go ahead and remind us where you're going this week, Chad.
I've got la-vega at China Spring, the old Pirates Cougars rivalry, and Rod Adelot, our crack photographer, he has always talked about how good China Springs' new lights are at their stadium. So I'll enjoy shooting the game from that. They didn't let me shoot. Y'all didn't let me shoot last week at the Midway game. They had good lights too. Yep. I had to take the week off and barely remembered how to write a paragraph. I'm just kidding.
Probably we're out of practice on doing stats.
Well, yeah, I got there though. I've been doing it for a long time. So.
Yeah, that's true. Here's the one thing I'll say about China Springs lights. I'm not a fan of this. See what y'all's opinions are on this, but I'm not a fan of when the home team scores the touchdown and they do the flashing lights, turn them off, because, like for one, I would think for a photographer, that would not be good because suddenly the guy's in the dark.
Yeah, but by that time they've crossed the goal line.
But you want to get some celebration shots, don't
you? They come back on enough for get the celebration.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You're just an old crotchety old man.
I don't like when they turn out them lights. All that holly gully stuff.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, that'll be well. Look, I'll say I don't hate it. I do hate it if, say, the road team is up big and then the home team finally scores one, then they do it. Then it's like, what are we doing? That's when I don't like it.
Then it's like the guy who celebrates, getting the tackle when he's down 30 points.
Or for that matter, if you're up 40 and you're still doing it, like, come on, it's kind of similar to those places that do like the train horn or whatever. It's like, okay,
it's like
we get it. You're up big.
This is the world we live in, right? And I could go off on a rant for half an hour on this, but I'll spare everybody. Maybe I should just do my own podcast where I rant about things.
I'd listen to that.
Who's gonna listen to that?
But I went to a football game on Saturday night where there were 60,000 plus people there, and it was abundantly clear that there was a good 20 to 25,000 people there that did not care one iota, barely knew what the score was, and it's entertainment. It's entertainment. And even the guys next to me who were cheering for the visiting team while wearing home team colors confessed to me that they had just bet on the game and they were coming for entertainment.
Right. It's kind of like folks who go to Lakers games in a way. I mean, they're just kind of there to,
for the scene, right? And so that's why you have the flashing lights and, the drone show is cool. The drone show is cool, but what if the team had been down by 21 points going to the fourth quarter? Would that drone show have been cool then?
I'm not anti pyrotechnics or anything like that. I'm not anti-show. I just want to see the kids celebrate, and when they're in the dark, I can't see them celebrate.
That's fair.
So that's all I'm saying. Michael, what game are you going to?
Yeah, so I will be in Kalachi Country watching the West Trojans host the Mexia Black Cats, and as we mentioned, Mexia playing a lot better probably since weeks 1, 2, and 3.
I should get a bonus 10 points in our pick.
He gets one game right
because last week
wants to treat it like 10.
You're like, here are the possible games, but don't pick any of these. Don't pick this bottom group of games because that's not. I was like, ooh.
Well,
wait just a minute,
Well, look, I'll say Mexia has gotten healthier. That's been one thing that's helped, and. Again, I think his name's Jadarius Davis, sophomore quarterback. He's given them a nice lift. And I was talking to Bryce yesterday at the office.
Collins.
Kellen Collins, Chad, who I mean, well, really, all three of us have seen him play basketball. He's the real deal on that hardwood. Well, he is making some big time plays on the gridiron too. And if they would be smart to keep feeding him the ball on the ground and let him run the ball, throw it through the air, and let him be a punt return and kick return specialist, because he scored
Michael's special teams player of the week.
83-yard punt return touchdown. I saw the clip of it on Twitter. It was pretty awesome. So
nice.
That'll be fun.
Meanwhile, I will be at the Conley-Robinson game. Looking forward to seeing both those teams play for the first time this year. Of course, Conley in a 0-1 hole in district, and Robinson got the good win last week over Lorena. So that's always a good rivalry. All those rivalries in that district.
They're fun.
Yeah, so should be fun, but we'll reconvene next week and see who has bragging rights. Maybe I'll come up with a little trophy. That would be cool.
I wonder, what if somebody sweeps picks and fantasy this week?
Wow, that's serious bragging rights.
Man, that would be nice.
Something to strive for. All right, see ya.